What's the one organ that never gets a day off? Your heart. It beats over 100,000 times every single day, never stops, never takes a break, never clocks out for lunch. From the moment you were born until this very second, it has been working non-stop, pumping blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels, keeping you alive without asking for anything in return. So what happens when you decide to skip a few meals? What happens inside your chest when dinner doesn't come? Most people assume their heart would panic, that it needs constant fuel to keep pumping, that missing breakfast, lunch, or dinner would somehow stress this tireless organ. But here's what science discovered, and it might be the most surprising thing you learn about your body today. Your heart doesn't starve when you fast. It transforms. This is educational content, not medical advice. If you have heart conditions or take medications, talk to your doctor before changing how you eat. Now let's take a journey inside your chest, hour by hour, and discover what really happens to the most important muscle in your body when food stops coming. The answer might change everything you thought you knew about fasting. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed. You won't want to miss what we discover about this incredible organ. Let's start at the beginning. The moment after your last bite, right after you finish eating, your heart is comfortable. Fuel is abundant, life is easy. Think of your heart like a car that can run on different types of fuel. Right now, it's using energy from the meal you just ate, a mix of sugar and fat floating through your bloodstream. Everything is running smoothly. No alarms, no warnings, just steady, reliable pumping. But here's something most people don't realize. Even when you're eating normally, your heart is not primarily running on sugar. This is one of the biggest myths about heart health. Most people think the heart needs sugar to survive. They think skipping meals means starving this vital organ. The truth is very different. Your heart is already a fat-burning machine. About 70 to 90% of the energy your heart uses comes from fat, not sugar, not carbs. Fat. Your heart has been running primarily on fat since the day you were born. Let that sink in for a moment. The organ you depend on for every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of your life, it prefers fat over sugar. It's been this way your entire life. You just never knew it. Sugar only provides a small portion of what your heart needs. The rest? Your heart prefers to burn fat even when sugar is readily available. It's like having a luxury car that runs better on premium fuel, except your heart came pre-programmed this way from birth. This is important because it means your heart isn't as dependent on your meals as you might think. It's been burning fat all along. You just didn't know it. So when you stop eating, your heart doesn't suddenly face a crisis. It simply adjusts the fuel mix. A little less of this, a little more of that. No drama, no emergency. And here's where things start to get interesting. As the hours pass without food, something changes inside you. Imagine your body as a house. When resources become limited, you don't keep every light blazing in every room. You start turning off lights in rooms you're not using. You conserve. You become efficient. You prioritize what matters most. That's exactly what your body does. Insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar, starts to drop. This is the signal, the message that food isn't coming anytime soon. And this signal triggers a cascade of changes throughout your entire system. When insulin falls, your body opens the storage rooms. Fat cells start releasing their contents. Fatty acids flood into your bloodstream. The liver begins converting this fat into usable energy. Your metabolism shifts from digest and store mode to release and burn mode. It's like flipping a switch from saving to spending, from accumulation to utilization. But here's the fascinating part. Your heart barely notices this transition. Why? Because your heart has been burning fat as its primary fuel source all along. This isn't new territory for your heart. This is home. For your heart, this shift is like switching from regular gas to premium. The engine keeps running smoothly, no sputtering, no struggle, no complaints. While other parts of your body are adjusting to the absence of food, your heart continues beating with the same steady rhythm it always has. 60 beats per minute, 70, whatever your normal is. Unchanged, unfazed, unimpressed by the lack of food. It's almost like your heart was designed for this. And actually, it was. Around the 12-hour mark, something remarkable begins. Your liver starts doing something it's been doing for millions of years of human evolution. It takes the fat being released from your storage and transforms it into something special. Ketones. You might have heard this word before. Ketones are small packages of energy, compact and clean, easy for your body to use. Think of them as premium fuel pods that can travel anywhere in your body, crossing barriers that other fuels cannot. Your brain loves ketones. It can use them when sugar isn't available. This is how your ancestors survived long winters and failed hunts. Their brains kept working, kept problem solving, kept them alive, even when food was scarce. But your heart loves ketones even more. When ketones arrive, your heart welcomes them like an old friend. It starts burning them alongside fat, and something interesting happens. Ketones burn cleaner than other fuels. Think about the difference between burning a high-quality candle versus a cheap one. Both produce light and heat. Both do the job. But one burns clean with barely any smoke, while the other leaves soot and residue everywhere. When your heart burns ketones, it produces less oxidative stress, less cellular exhaust, less wear and tear on the machinery that keeps you alive. It's cleaner energy for a cleaner operation. Think of it as the difference between powering your home with clean solar energy versus burning coal. Both work. But one leaves your system in better shape over time. This isn't a flaw in human design. This is a feature. Your ancestors didn't have refrigerators. They didn't have grocery stores open 24 hours. They didn't have food delivery apps or midnight snacks. They went days between successful hunts, walking miles on empty stomachs, hearts beating strong the entire time. Think about that for a moment. Those early humans had to chase down prey. They had to walk for miles searching for food. They had to stay alert for predators. All of this on an empty stomach. And their hearts never failed them. The heart in your chest right now is descended from hearts that thrived during scarcity. It carries the same programming, the same genetic code, the same ability to switch fuels and keep going when times get tough. When you fast, you're not torturing your heart. You're speaking its ancient language, the language of your ancestors, the language of survival. But if you have existing heart conditions or take heart medications, this is where you need to be careful. Fasting can interact with medications, and the timing of when you eat can matter. Always work with your doctor if you fall into this category. Now we enter territory that scientists have only recently begun to understand. Deep inside the cells of your heart, there's something like a master switch. Researchers call it BDH1, but you can think of it as your heart's head mechanic, a specialist who lives inside every heart cell, waiting to be called into action. When you've been fasting long enough, this mechanic wakes up, and when it does, it starts optimizing everything. Here's what makes this mechanic special. It doesn't just do one job, it does two. First, it helps your heart use ketones more efficiently. It fine-tunes the system so your heart extracts maximum energy from this premium fuel. Every ketone molecule gets used to its fullest potential. Nothing wasted. But second, and this surprised even the scientists who discovered it, it also helps your heart burn regular fat better than before. One worker, two jobs, both done exceptionally well. Researchers discovered this by studying what happens when this switch is turned off. Hearts without this mechanic struggled. They couldn't burn fat efficiently. They accumulated waste products. Exercise tolerance dropped. Performance suffered across the board. It was like a car with a clogged exhaust system still running, but nowhere near its potential. But when the switch is on, when the mechanic is working, your heart becomes more efficient. It burns fuel cleaner. It operates closer to its design potential. It performs the way it was meant to perform. This doesn't happen after one skipped meal. It takes time. Your body needs to recognize that this isn't a fluke, that fasting is becoming a pattern worth adapting to. Studies suggest that intermittent fasting done consistently over time triggers these adaptations over weeks. Your heart literally remodels its metabolism at the cellular level. It becomes better at its job, more efficient, more resilient. Not because it's struggling, because it's optimizing. And this leads us to one of the most surprising discoveries in recent heart research. Here's something that changed how scientists think about heart health. When researchers studied failing hearts, hearts that were weak, tired, struggling to keep pumping, they found something unexpected. These struggling hearts weren't reaching for sugar, they were reaching for ketones. In patients with heart failure, ketone usage nearly tripled compared to healthy hearts, 3 times more. The failing heart, desperate for fuel it could use efficiently, turned to ketones like a drowning person reaches for a life preserver. It grabbed onto ketones as if its life depended on it. Because, in a way, it did. Think about what this means. When hearts are in trouble, when they need help the most, they instinctively shift toward the same fuel that fasting provides. The struggling heart doesn't want more sugar. It wants ketones. It craves them. It reaches for them automatically. This discovery opened new questions in cardiology. Could ketones actually be a preferred fuel for hearts under stress? Could fasting-induced ketones provide something that constant feeding doesn't? The research is still ongoing. Scientists are careful not to make claims too big for the evidence, but the pattern is striking. Healthy hearts can use ketones efficiently. Struggling hearts actively seek them out, and fasting naturally produces them. Now, this doesn't mean you should try to treat heart disease by skipping meals. That would be dangerous and irresponsible. If you have heart problems, you need medical care, not dietary experiments. But for healthy hearts, this research suggests that periods without food might not be the stress we once assumed. They might be something your heart was built to handle, maybe even something it was waiting for. Science wouldn't be science if there weren't different findings to consider. In 2024, a study made headlines when it suggested that people who ate within an 8-hour window had higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. The news spread everywhere. Suddenly, intermittent fasting looked dangerous. But here's what you need to know. That study was based on questionnaires. People reported what they remembered eating over just 2 days. The researchers couldn't control for what those people ate, how healthy they were otherwise, or dozens of other factors that affect heart health. Many cardiologists call the findings thought-provoking, but far from conclusive. Some pointed out that people who restrict eating windows might do so because they're already unhealthy. Correlation doesn't mean causation. The truth is, we're still learning. Some research shows fasting improves markers of heart health, blood pressure improvements, better cholesterol profiles, reduced inflammation. Other research raises questions about long-term effects. What does this mean for you? It means listening to your body matters more than following any trend. It means some people might thrive with intermittent fasting while others might not. It means the conversation isn't over. And it means you should never ignore what your heart is telling you. Your heart has a way of communicating with you. During fasting, most people feel fine, maybe a little hungry, maybe a bit low on energy at first, but their hearts keep beating normally, steadily, without complaint. However, if you feel your heart racing when it shouldn't be, if you notice skipped beats fluttering or pounding in your chest that doesn't go away, that's your heart raising its hand. That's your body asking for attention. That's a signal you cannot ignore. Your heart is waving a red flag. Severe dizziness, chest pressure, feeling like you might faint, cold sweats that come from nowhere. These are not signs to push through. These are signals to stop. Break your fast. Drink water with electrolytes, salt, potassium, magnesium. These minerals keep your heart's electrical system running smoothly. They're the support crew that keeps everything in rhythm. Without them, even healthy hearts can stumble. If you've been fasting and feel off, sometimes it's as simple as a pinch of salt in your water. Your body loses electrolytes when you're not eating, and your heart notices when they're low. And if something feels seriously wrong, don't wait. Get medical help. Fasting can be beneficial for many people, but your heart's safety always comes first. The goal isn't to prove how long you can go without eating. The goal is to work with your body, not against it. So what have we learned? Your heart is not a fragile organ that panics when meals are delayed. It's a metabolic masterpiece refined over millions of years of evolution, capable of switching between fuel sources with remarkable flexibility. When you fast, your heart doesn't starve. It adapts. It shifts from burning mostly fat to burning fat plus ketones. It activates internal mechanisms that improve efficiency. It operates on cleaner fuel with less oxidative waste. This doesn't mean fasting is magic. It doesn't mean everyone should do it. And it certainly doesn't mean ignoring medical advice in favor of dietary trends. But it does mean this. The next time you skip a meal and wonder if you're hurting your heart, remember what's actually happening inside your chest. Your heart is doing exactly what it evolved to do. It's not struggling, it's transforming. Not weak, not starving, adapting. That's the truth about your heart and fasting. There's something almost poetic about it. The same mechanism that kept your great-great-great-grandparents alive during harsh winters is still there waiting inside you, ready to activate when food becomes scarce, ready to help your heart thrive, not just survive. After everything science has shown us, the question isn't whether your heart can handle periods without food. It clearly can. The question is whether we've been underestimating this organ all along. Maybe we've spent too much time thinking our hearts need constant feeding. Maybe the reality is that hearts like the humans they keep alive were built for flexibility, for feast and famine, for abundance and scarcity. Maybe your heart knows things about survival that your conscious mind has forgotten. And maybe, just maybe, giving your heart a break from constant digestion is one of the kindest things you can do for the organ that has never taken a break from keeping you alive. Now I want to hear from you. Have you noticed changes in how your heart feels during fasting? More energy, less something unexpected? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else understand their own body better. And here's something worth thinking about. Some researchers say intermittent fasting protects the heart. Others point to studies suggesting caution. The science is still being written. Where do you stand? Does your heart need constant fuel? Or was it designed for occasional rest? Drop your thoughts below. If someone you care about is curious about fasting and worried about their heart, share this video. the science might change their perspective. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring what your body is truly capable of. And if this opened your eyes, you might want to see what happens to your brain during the first 24 hours of fasting. The mental changes might surprise you even more than what happens to your heart. Your body has secrets it's been keeping for millions of years. We're just beginning to uncover them. And your heart, it's been waiting patiently for you to discover what it's truly capable of.